Welcome to this explainer. Setting up utility services in a new place usually feels like a total bureaucratic chore, right? Just endless paperwork. But here in Memphis, you aren't just turning on a tap. You're actually accessing a legendary, world-class natural resource. So today, we're going to give you a super clear, step-by-step guide to unlocking the city's incredible water service through Memphis Light Gas and Water, or MLGW, without all the usual headaches. But hold on, before we dive into the paperwork, let's talk about what you're actually getting. 2,000. That's how many years ago the water you're about to drink actually fell from the sky as rain. No way, right? Over those 2 millennia, that ancient rain slowly seeped down through massive, thick layers of sand and gravel. This huge underground structure is known as the Memphis Sand Aquifer, and it basically acts like a giant, natural water filter. It removes dirt and dissolved chemicals so incredibly well that the raw water pumped out of the ground is remarkably pure. It literally only needs minimal treatment, mostly just aeration and a tiny touch of chlorine and phosphate before it makes its way right to your glass. Okay, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The Memphis Water Journey. 2. Steps to start service. 3. Required documents and ID. 4. Billing and payment options. And 5. Troubleshooting and water quality. Section 1. The Memphis Water Journey. Because it comes straight from the aquifer, Memphis boasts some of the absolute purest artesian water in the world. Honestly, what you should take away from this is highly practical. Locals here proudly drink straight from the tap. There is absolutely zero need to spend your hard-earned cash on expensive home filtration systems or cases of bottled water. You are getting premium quality straight out of the faucet. Section 2. Steps to start service. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. You've got 3 primary ways to actually start your residential service. First up is the MLGW online portal. It's super convenient, but just a quick heads up, online applications do require a minimum of 2 business days for administrative processing. Second, you can totally just enroll by phone. And third, if you're someone who prefers face-to-face assistance, you can always walk right into any of the active MLGW community offices during standard business hours. If you're starting standard residential service, you're going to want to call 910-544-6549. But what if you're a commercial customer? Or say you're just in a huge rush and need a connection set up within 2 business days? In that case, definitely bypass the online portal entirely and call the priority line at 910-820-7878. And finally, go ahead and save the emergency and leak reporting number right now, 910-528-4465. Trust me, you'll want that one handy when winter rolls around. Section 3. Required documents and ID. Now, establishing a utility account is a real legal contract, and MLGW takes security very seriously. They enforce strict identity verification policies to comply with the Federal Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act, or FACTA, and its red flags rules. This isn't just bureaucratic red tape. It's actually designed to protect you from identity theft and fraud. When you request service, you're put on a 30-day clock to provide valid proof of your identity. You have to provide 2 forms of valid identification. And here's the crucial part. At least one of these forms absolutely must feature a discernible photo of you. Acceptable U.S. government-issued IDs include things like a social security card, a passport, or a visa. Now, if you apply over the phone or online, you'll be granted conditional service right away. But if you fail to submit those documents and get approval within that 30-day window, your utility services will unfortunately be terminated. Section 4. Billing and payment options. Okay, listen up, because here's an insider tip that can save you a lot of money right off the bat. MLGW is a massive 3-service utility covering light, gas, and water. Because of this, new accounts usually require a pretty hefty $200 security deposit. But you can often bypass this entirely. If you have a 12-month history of paying on time with your previous utility company, just call them and ask for a letter of credit. If you email that letter over to MLGW before you move, they will very frequently waive that entire $200 deposit for you. Next, you need to pick how you want to be billed. Traditional standard billing means you get monthly statements, you have standard deposits, and you risk late fees or reconnection charges if you happen to fall behind. But check out this alternative, MLGW Prepay. This system functions exactly like a prepaid cell phone. You simply pay up front, and as you consume water and power, your balance slowly decreases. The major benefits? Well, it completely eliminates the traditional deposit, there are absolutely 0 late fees, and you can track your daily consumption directly on the My Usage website. It's really a fantastic option for residential customers who have smart meters installed. Here's another great financial tip, and this one involves estimated billing. Sometimes a meter reader simply cannot physically access your meter. Maybe you have a locked gate or a very protective dog out front. When that happens, MLGW will estimate your bill based on past usage. And let's be honest, this can sometimes lead to nasty surprise charges later on to correct the balance. You can take total control over this by just downloading the MLGW app and submitting your own accurate meter readings yourself. Section 5. Troubleshooting and water quality. Once your service is turned on, you might run into a couple of common situations. First off, older homes often have iron pipes that naturally corrode over time. When water flow suddenly increases, like maybe during a nearby water main break or if a fire hydrant is being used, it stirs up those iron particles. While completely harmless, it creates rusty or red water, which I know looks super alarming. Usually, just running the tap for a bit clears it right up. Second tip, when outside temperatures drop below 20 degrees for more than 4 hours, let your faucets drip. This relieves the pressure in the lines and keeps your pipes from bursting. Let's do a rapid-fire cheat sheet for a few other common symptoms you might see. Got cloudy water? That's usually just trapped air bubbles from nearby construction. Just pour it in a glass and let it sit for a minute. Notice a strange taste or smell? Often that's due to low usage or recent plumbing work. Simply run the tap for a few minutes. Hearing noisy or rattling pipes? That could be age, low pressure, or air in the lines, meaning it's probably time to check for loose pipes or improperly seated valves. Moving to our final section, essential tips and a quick disclaimer. Now, while this explainer gives you a really solid foundation and the insider tips you need to get started, remember that utility policies and procedures are definitely subject to change. So always make sure to verify the very latest details, any required forms, and those contact numbers directly with official MLGW sources or their official website. That's the best way to ensure a perfectly seamless experience. So, armed with the right documents, some incredibly smart billing strategies, and a solid understanding of how your system actually works, are you ready to tap into a 2,000-year-old natural wonder right in your very own home? Get that letter of credit, grab those photo IDs, and go get your Memphis water flowing. Thanks for joining me on this explainer and enjoy every drop.